Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Let me see. Earlier, I had some technical problems. Hope everything is fine. Yes, it is. It is. Looks fine. Okay, good. How's everybody doing? I wanted to just go live randomly because, to be honest, I have been kind of sleeplessly following and reading and watching stuff and tweeting and recording and all that. So I kind of this is kind of to keep myself updated on what is going on right now as well, and to see other people's takes, and also to talk about some of the stuff that is going on right now, to get a summary of what is happening, and maybe to look at a few people that I was informed about who made some really bad, who had some really bad takes about this whole conflict that is going on. Hey, Kat, how are you doing? Hey, Kat. Good to see you here. Erican said, good streams. Yes, happy streaming. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Thank you. Hope you are doing well. All right. So, for those who live under a rock, there is a war going on because a few days ago, Hamas committed a brutal attack on Israel territory, on Israeli land, massacred by now over 1,000 people. I think the current death toll is like 1,300 people on the Israeli side, and it surpassed the Israeli side now on the Hamas side. On the Hamas in Gaza, the death toll is around 1,400 at the moment. Pretty messed up. We've seen horrifying images. I just want to quickly here share my screen and then look at things together. Let's see. I just recorded a bunch of interviews and other things with others who wanted to discuss this stuff with me as well. Plus, I actually have an interview coming with on a larger channel, but I don't want to say anything about it right now until it happens. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's look at CNBC. CNBC says Israel Hamas war live updates. We're not going anywhere. Blinken tells Netanyahu at least 27 Americans killed. Israel says 2,600 terrorist targets struck Gaza's health services enter critical stage. So for those who don't know, Israel announced as soon as this attack happened, and after Hamas fired thousands of rockets into Israel announced that they're going to implement a complete blockade, which means there will be no energy, no gas, no food, no basic goods flowing into the Gaza region from Israel, because Israel has been in charge of supplying those needs to Gaza for a long time now, and implemented a blockade in 2007 after Hamas was elected, because Hamas is an organization that vows to destroy Israel and to eliminate the Jews. And it was apparently a fantastic idea on Hamas's side to attack and brutally murder those who are in charge of all of your supplies, which is why Israel now said there will be a complete blockade. They are currently bombing the hell out of Gaza. And the thing is, a lot of people said it. A lot of people predicted this, but so at first came the attack. Hundreds of people go into Israel and shoot random civilians, drag them out, mistreat them, torture them, kill them, take them hostage, eradicate entire communities, eradicate entire families. And people were celebrating that. But lots of us predicted that as soon as Israel responds, they're going to start playing the victim and saying, look, the whole world is watching, Israel is bombing us, and so on. And that's exactly what happened. Right now, it's insane, but right now there is a very, very popular sentiment around the world, which is like, Israel is the oppressor, look what Israel is doing, how can Palestinians survive like this, and so on. It's incredible. There is so much to talk about when it comes to the history of this conflict. If we want to talk about whether Israel is actually at fault for this conflict, or whether the Palestinian Arab side is at fault for this conflict or not. And I think to all of those who are aware of the history, of the brief history of the region, it should be clear that it was Israel which initiated almost all of the last peace initiations, peace processes, peace agreements. And it was the Palestinian side which broke them, which violated them, which disregarded them, and which rejected formalities to declare a Palestinian state, to recognize Israel, to let go of violence. In fact, Hamas, the very organization that is in charge, and I published a video earlier in the night explaining a very short video, a 1-minute video explaining what Hamas is all about, what they believe in. Please watch that if you don't know, or if you know a little bit and just want to have a very quick glance at what Hamas actually believes in their own words. I made a 1-minute video in which I just took their quotes from their own charter and the things that they have said over the years. It's very clear Hamas is not an organization that believes in, like liberating a Palestinian Arab state and then living alongside Israel. They believe in eradicating Israel and eradicating the Jews, and they say very clearly that they aspire to fulfill the prophecy by Muhammad, which is that the Muslims will kill the Jews, and even the trees and rocks will say, there is a Jew behind me, come and kill him. But the Garga tree will not say, because it is a tree of the Jews. So this is what Hamas themselves say. And yet there are still people around the world who think, oh, no, this is just about, they're just being oppressed and they're just resisting. They're just doing this because of resistance. They are just angry because of the way they are treated. But Hamas was like this from the very beginning. From when it started, from the 1980s, and they were only a continuation of many of these organizations and groups that existed from the very beginning, before even Israel came into existence, which were completely against living together with Jews in the region which they call Palestine. I'm not here to defend Israel to my death, or say that Israel is an angel, say that Israel did nothing wrong. I don't believe any such thing. I don't believe that about any state. Every state has flaws. Every state does terrible things at some point. Every state follows their self-interest. Of course, Israel does things that I don't agree with, that lots of us don't agree with. I think there is a too big of a hard right presence in the Israeli politics and in the Israeli parliament and all of that. But I'm sorry, it just has to be put very clearly from the very beginning. It was Israel that agreed to have two states in the region, because the first option didn't work, to live together. They said we agreed to have two states and to make peace and to prosper, and the Arabs didn't accept it. They declared war as soon as Israel was declared, and this has been continuing since then. So many wars they declared, protests, invasions on a civil scale, rebellions of all kinds. They did this for nearly a century now, and it didn't go well for them. And apparently, they still think it's a great idea to keep going like this. And of course, the Arab countries, the Muslim countries in the region, they don't even want to really help out, because to them it's good that there is a conflict going on. That is what they can always complain about and point at and rile people up about. Otherwise, I don't know. Why wouldn't they? There are still thousands of Palestinian refugees that don't have citizenship status, that live in neighboring Arab countries, that live in other Arab countries, and the Arab countries don't do anything about it. Because there is one thing, some people call it propaganda, others know it's true. Lots of people know it's true. In the Arab world, it is very well known that Palestinians are not popular. Yes, Palestinians are not popular. And you could say that's because they are refugees, and they are they beg for protection and this and that, but it's not something that I say. Egypt doesn't want to open their borders to Gaza, which Egypt has borders to Gaza. They don't want to open it because they made it clear in the past quite a few times that it is a security threat to them, that they have problems whenever they open the borders and let people in, plus that they don't really want to deal with Hamas, because they want to recognize the other Palestinian Authority in the West Bank as the authentic representatives of the Palestinians. They don't want Hamas. Nobody likes Hamas. Somehow, when a conflict starts, when Hamas attacks Israel and Israel responds, then they are all rallying behind Hamas. But actually, if you ask them, nobody likes Hamas. I mean, there have been studies which are that even the most supportive countries, aside from Iran, have no love for Hamas, because Hamas are troublemakers. It's the worst form of the Palestinian resistance movement that exists. I would like everyone who uses Twitter, who follows me there, to just go there and retweet this, please. I think this should be seen by everybody, to just see what kind of people these guys are, to see the true face of these people. For those who missed my stream on Monday, which, by the way, is blocked for some reason because they think I glorify a terrorist organization, which is Hamas. It's still under review. For those who missed it, I highlighted it there, but Daniel Hikikiju made this tweet. He said, "Isn't it hilarious that the number one thing the Tradcons are citing to justify their diehard support for Israel genociding Palestine is one 5-second clip of some rave prostitute?" He's referring to this woman, of whom we have seen really, really bad footages. She was dancing. She was a happy woman. She was abducted by these terrorists that landed at the festival site. They took her. They violated her. They killed her. Her head is severely wounded. She's stripped naked. This is not what she was. This is not how she was dressed. She's stripped naked, bare-chested, on the back of the truck, with these subhuman terrorist animals stepping on her, sitting on her, others spitting on her, and so on. And Daniel and others like him refer to her as a rave prostitute. This is how callous they are. This is how much they have no regard for the basic human decency, the right to exist, the feelings or anything of others. Yeah, I know. Some people say that she's alive. There have been reports because her mother came out and said, she's alive. I received information that she's alive. She's just severely wounded and all of that. which is how it's a mother. A mother, it's hard for her to believe that her daughter is dead. She has hope. Maybe she's being scammed. Maybe she's making it up. I don't know. But there is no evidence at all that she is alive. We have seen very clear footages in which she looks dead, in which her body is completely unnaturally twisted. Wait, what? My video is back up? Who said that? Really? Why didn't I get a notification? Why am I the last person to be informed about my own video? Wait, let me see. What? This, they didn't even send me a message. It's back on. This is so stupid. I mean, it's not stupid, it's good, but okay, well, all right, yeah. My live stream from Monday, which was blocked for 3 days, is back online, and I didn't even receive a notification from YouTube telling me that it's online, so that's weird. Hey, Vito, what's up? How are you doing? How are you doing? Hey, do you want to come on? You have my contact info. You have my Twitter and whatever. Message me if you want to, and maybe you can join me for a conversation because I feel too lonely here. All right. So this is how these guys treat human beings like her. She's not alive. There's no way she's alive. It's just it's yeah. Daniel Kikuchi is a bastard. What can be said? But I hope that this can spread and people around the world can see it. And the thing is, it's not just Daniel Kikuchi, right? It's not just him. It's not just this one despicable person that we know is a horrible person. It is. Look at this. 3,216 likes. 3,200 likes compared to only 144 comments. It's his crowd. It's the people that support guys like these who are that way, who have no respect for other people and their right and their will to exist, for other people and their basic human rights, their basic human dignity. These people are just completely messed up. Completely messed up. What can be said? There have been lots of rumors going around about I don't even want to speak it out, but about babies that were burned and killed and decapitated by Hamas. And there was no footage. There were no public images of that happening. Which is why, and the Turkish state media said that they contacted the IDF, and the IDF confirmed that they have no such reports. But the IDF, on the other hand, the Israeli Defense Forces was still saying that that the reports do exist, that multiple people, including independent journalists, international ones, confirmed that there were babies that had been decapitated. And it was sad, I guess, because somebody said there were 40 babies in that site, in that town, that were decapitated. It spread around that there were 40 babies that actually, 40 babies were decapitated. It's a horrible thing to talk about, I know, but we have to talk about what these animals are doing. Apparently, it is roughly a number of 40, like a mix of children and babies that are found dead. Not all of them decapitated. Decapitations do exist. Kids were burned. Babies were burned. And I don't know if it's house set on fire with a baby inside, or a baby directly, callously set on fire by these animals. And people have said things like, oh, this is just propaganda. Look, this is just a lie. This is just a thing that they make up to invade, to commit genocide against the Palestinians and all of that. And this morning, the office of Benjamin Netanyahu published 3 photos, which they did not want to publish before. They explicitly said that videos like those should not be made public. But since there were so many accusations that this is propaganda, the office of Netanyahu actually published 3 photos, which I didn't retweet, although I am completely on the side of share everything so that everyone sees what these people are capable of. And I don't even want to put it on the screen, but if you really want to go check it out, what's the Twitter profile? It's God, Israel. Prime Minister of Israel. I don't want to go on it. I don't want to put it on the screen, but yeah. So they shared 3 photos of a dead baby wrapped up in blood, pale, and 2 other babies that were severely deformed and burnt up completely black. And it is just disgusting that these Hamas terrorist supporters spent 2 days claiming that this is all just propaganda, that such a thing doesn't exist, that Hamas would not do such a thing, that the Zionists are just fabricating this to invade and genocide the Arabs. And then they actually put it there. And now these people are just looking at it and changing the topic, or moving the goalpost, or even saying dumb stuff like absolutely horrible stuff like, okay, but where are the 40? Or were they all decapitated? No, so clearly fabricated. Like what they're telling us is, oh yeah, okay, yeah, well, Hamas did kill and burn babies, not sure how it happened, but was it 40? Were they all decapitated? No, so that was propaganda. Ha 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 ha. This is the kind of messed up, completely messed up stuff that people resort to in order to somehow absolve their own side from any guilt. I don't believe it. I don't want to see it. I'm sure there are even people who saw these images, who saw the footage here, who saw the photos, which were confirmed by multiple sites and published, and say, I don't know, it doesn't look like a baby to me. Maybe they did that out of something else. Maybe they themselves burnt those babies to show them to us. People are fucked up. I'm sorry, I don't know how else to put it. People are fucked up. Really, really fucked up. Cookie Monster said, AP, I'm not on any side. Both are bad. I'm not on any side either, but right now I'm completely on the side of Israel. I'm sorry. There is simply no way that I can possibly be balanced here and think. Richard McKevitt said, "Do you believe Netanyahu?" I don't believe Netanyahu. I believe multiple witness accounts, independent ones, verifications, a state publishing something that can be verified and fact checked. Do you think the state of Israel, which is under so much scrutiny, will publish these, will create a fake thing and put a table up there and will publish fake videos and fake photos, which could be fact checked at any moment to then see if it's true or not? Do you really think that this is what they would be doing? And this is just we don't even have to go there. We have multiple different reports independently confirming that it happened. Let's see. Vidu said he messaged me. You messaged me? Where did you message me? I don't see. Oh, okay. You messaged me here. You have a new profile that I don't even follow? Wow. Shameful. I'm going to send you the link to join me. Okay. And then we can continue looking into things. Asian Tour said, AB, please guest on your platform, interview Mr. Mossab Hassan Youssef. I don't believe that I could reach that guy. You're talking about, do I have his book somewhere? Son of Hamas. I was just re-listening to his book, actually. That's him. Yeah, Mossab Hassan Youssef. He's the son of one of the co-founders of Hamas, and he worked with Israeli security agencies undercover as a spy and prevented so many terrorist attacks from Hamas. He also converted to Christianity, and then he wrote a book. He was, of course, disowned, is under constant threat. I don't think I can reach that guy. But hey, let me quickly invite my guest here, to whom I haven't spoken in a long time. All right, give me a second. Video, I sent you the link. Join me. Join me. Join me. All right. I want to quickly have a look at this idiot. Everybody's telling me to react to Hassan Piker.
Do you think
who is a giant idiot right now, and who is really justifying the attacks and defending Hamas and blaming it all on Israel? And I really want to have a look at a few of the things he says. I don't really want to have a look, actually, but I currently want to check it out because I want to see what kind of horrible, dumb things people say.
that this happened out of nowhere? Do you think this happened out of thin air? Are you fucking stupid? Do you think the Israeli state was just like peacefully coexisting?
I'm gonna go pee.
And then
Yes.
these guys came in with fucking gliders out of nowhere? Don't say fuck off, dude. They didn't deserve it, you fucking idiot. My goal is solutions. Your goal is the continuation of violence. You want way more than 260 people dying. You want every single Palestinian to be fucking executed ruthlessly in the streets so that you can build another fucking theme park in Gaza. You fucking baying pig. You fucking bloodthirsty, violent pig dog. Suck my dick. How do you think this happens? You think it happens out of nowhere? You think these people are just like, oh, we were violent because we want to be violent? You think that's where violence culminates?
Actually, yes, that's exactly how it happens. I was kind of expecting him to tell us how exactly this happens, because the video says the truth why Hamas attacked Israel. Apparently, he's not telling us. All he's saying is, "Do you really think that's how it happened?" I don't know what I mean. I don't know why I'm even keeping expecting much here. There was a different video in which he was concisely attacking people who. All right. Yes, Israel was actually trying to coexist. In fact, Israel left the Gaza Strip in 2005, disengaged, and gave, under the protection and the approval of 4 states known as the Quartet of the Middle East, Israel gave Gaza the right to self-govern, to flourish, to establish a state, to take care of their needs, and to eventually become completely free in the region. What did Gaza do? Gaza elected Hamas in 2006. Gaza elected Hamas, and there were 3 conditions by that quartet, which were that the Palestinian side must recognize Israel, must disavow terrorist attacks, and 3, must accept prior peace agreements. Hamas said no to all 3 of them, and explicitly said that their goal is to free Palestine, which means remove Israel completely from existence and fight the Jews. And all along they continued saying things like that all Jews are the enemies, they should all be killed, Palestinians should go around and cut their throats, and so on. Israel naturally said, yeah, okay, sorry, we're not doing this. We will blockade Gaza until Hamas goes away and another force comes into its place and actually agrees to collaborate with us. Otherwise, we will not let a terrorist entity thrive right next to us, which simply wants to arm itself and eventually, destroy and kill us. What kind of a stupid thing would that be? And seriously, some people think, oh yeah, they shouldn't put a blockade on them. They shouldn't control, what goes in and out of the country. Excuse me, the Gaza Strip is the much more violent out of the 2 Palestinian territories, the West Bank and the Gaza. The Gaza Strip is much more violent. Israel only occupied it initially, which it is not anymore. And blockaded it because of repeated declarations of war, repeated attacks, repeated rebellions, which Israel defended itself against, eventually defeated the other side, then said, we are not going to just take this any longer. We are taking control of this place until this problem is solved. Anybody would do the same. Your country would do the same. I would do the same. I don't know. I would do worse if it was just me as an individual. I'm not sure why they still allow Hamas to exist. But I don't know. It's funny. People like this Hassan guy, I feel like it wouldn't even be possible to have a proper discussion about the facts with guys like these. They just yell at you and say stuff like "suck my dick." Ridiculous moron. What was I just going to do? Okay, I was going to actually play this for all of those who haven't seen it, to simply put on the screen some of the few things that I mentioned earlier and that everybody needs to see about Hamas. I want to highlight this again and again and again, because Hamas is not a freedom organization. Hamas is not a peaceful organization. Hamas is not about resistance. Hamas is a genocidal organization that may even be worse than the Nazis. Hamas is not a resistance group. In their founding covenant, and over the years, they made it abundantly clear that Hamas does not believe in the existence of a Jewish state in the region which they... So this is, I included very few things on here because there's so much messed up stuff, so much hate and genocide in their covenant and their declarations over the decades. There's so much. I only put a few things on here. Hamas charter to raise the banner of Allah over every inch of Palestine, which means all of it, not just whatever they have. They were assigned. The land of Palestine is an Islamic property. They say an Islamic waqf, which means something like a holy possession belonging to Islam, which can never be given up. This is actually an Islamic concept. It's also known as wow, I forgot the term. I haven't used it in a long time. Dar al... what? Huh, I forgot the term. That's funny. Dar al-Harb is a land in which Muslims, in which Islam doesn't rule, and in which there is technically a state of war according to Islam, because Islam is not in charge. And then there is the other Dar al something. Why did I forget that word? Wow, I heard it so much during my youth. Is it Dar al-Islam? Really? That's not how I remember it. That was my first thought, but I thought, no, it's not that. It must be something. It was probably something more distinct. That's weird. My memory is playing tricks on me. Yeah, okay. Dar al-Islam. Dar al-Islam and Dar al-Harb. Yeah, and according to their logic, once a land comes under Islamic control or is dominated by Muslims, by Islam, it is from there on until eternity part of Islam and can never change. So any attempt to establish a non-Islamic state there is against the laws of Allah and cannot be allowed. That is their entire logic. And they say at the very beginning of the charter that Israel will exist until Islam will obliterate it. And this is them quoting somebody. This is the only time in their charter where they actually mention Israel. Otherwise, they only refer to Israel as the Zionist invaders or the Nazi Jews. Not kidding. Or the Zionist occupation. The region which they call Palestine. They made it clear that they believe it is a promise by Allah, as Muhammad said, that the Muslims would fight the Jews and kill them. Can you believe it? This is... people who go around saying, oh, this is just all about resistance. It's all about resistance. All about resistance. It's all about resistance. It's, that's it. Just being oppressed. Why don't you just leave them alone and try to find a solution with them? Why don't we just leave them alone and try to make a two-state solution with them? With the very people who from the very beginning said the Islamic resistance movement, which is the English translation of Hamas, which is Harakat al-Muqawwama al-Islamiyya or something like that, which is then abbreviated as Hamas. That's what Hamas means, and that means Islamic resistance movement. Aspires to the realization of Allah's promise, no matter how long that should take. To Allah's promise, no matter how long that should take. Forever. The Prophet, Allah bless him and grant him salvation, has said, the day of judgment will not come about until Muslims fight the Jews. When the Jew will hide behind stones and trees, the stones and trees will say, Muslim, O servant of Allah, or Abdullah, there is a Jew behind me, come and kill him. Only the Gargat Jew would not do that because it is one of the trees of the Jews. This is on an official paper in their foundation, in their founding covenant. And you bring this up and people still say, oh, no, that's just, they're just being oppressed and they just want to have peace. They just want to coexist. They just want to, they just want to coexist. They just want to have their state and their freedom and their own well-being alongside the Israeli state. Is this what that looks like? Does this look like they want that? I know. Ray Joe said this sounds like something Hitler would have written. I said this before. I don't want to. I read Mein Kampf a long time ago by Hitler, and I believe that that even in that book you can't find a statement that is nearly as genocidal as all of the things that you find in the Hamas charter. It is incredibly messed up. I mean, just go through this and look for Jew. The Jews' usurpation of Palestine. It is compulsory that the banner of jihad be raised. Our struggle against the Jews is very great and very serious. It needs all sincere efforts. It's not Zionists. It's not Israelis. The Jews. Jews. The Jews will not be pleased with neither the Christians until you follow their religion. Quran verse. Jews' usurpation. In their Nazi treatment, the Jews made no exception for women and children. Their policy of striking fear in the heart is meant for all. This is funny because that's a striking fear in the hearts of the enemies. It's directly from the Quran. We should not forget to remind every Muslim that when the Jews conquered the holy city in 1967, they stood on the threshold of Aqsa Mosque and proclaimed that Muhammad is dead and his descendants are all women. I'm not sure if that's even referring to anything that actually happened. I don't know. Israel, Judaism, and Jews challenge Islam and the Muslim people. May the cowards never sleep. Does it say that this is just about Israel? No. Judaism and Jews. Warmongering Jews. Islamic groupings all over the Arab world should also do the same, since all of these are the best equipped for the future role in the fight with the warmongering Jews. And here's a funny Quran verse to include in your covenant. And we have put enmity and hatred between them until the day of resurrection. So often as they shall kindle a fire of war, Allah shall extinguish it, and they shall set their minds to act corruptly in the earth. But Allah does not love the corruptors, whatever. This is only the beginning. We can continue with the much worse stuff they say. Until even the rocks and the trees would say, there is a Jew behind me, come and kill him. They made it clear that they want to remove the Jews, not leave one of them. That this is a statement that they made. They act like angels when they suddenly speak. By Allah, we will not leave one Jew in Palestine. That they want to remove the Jews, not leave one of them. That all Jews are the Jews are the most despicable and contemptible community on earth. Says the guy. Anyway, I'll pull that one here. That Jews are the enemy. That Arabs and Muslims in this one. Lots of these quotes are old, right? But here you have Fatih Hamad, who is a senior Hamas official, translated by memory from 2019, where he says, Palestinians abroad, enough of the warming Palestine, and even outside. We must attack every Jew on planet Earth. I think he says there are lots of Jews around you. Side of Palestine should kill Jews. We must slaughter and kill them with Allah's help. And I only included a few things here, which are not even the full picture. It's not the full picture. The full picture is even worse. It gets much more explicit. For example, Hamas in their own words. Let's see. The IDF, Israeli Defense Forces, published this. Of course, you can't trust it because it's the Israeli Defense Forces. So they must have made up these people here and their quotes and all of the stuff that they say, right? Hamas says in 2020, we are ready with our weapons. We are ready with our rockets. I'm not sure if I can play this video. We are ready to blow up buses. We are ready to carry out suicide missions. Terrorist organization has one goal: to annihilate the state of Israel and to murder Jews, both in Israel and around the world. And I know you could say, hey, this is a complete exaggeration. This is probably propaganda. But hey, watch the video. Watch the video. So this is the one that I posted. All of you 7 million Palestinians abroad and after the warming up. You have Jews everywhere. We must attack every Jew on the planet. We must slaughter and kill them with Allah's help. Does this sound like resistance? Palestine from the sea to the river, which is a common slogan saying there will be no Israel. All of it will be our Palestinian land. And we will never recognize Israel, contrary to what some idiots think should happen. Deputy Speaker in the Hamas parliament. Oh Allah, destroy the Americans and their supporters, destroy Israel. And there are probably Americans, there are Americans on Twitter. Even, I'm not even talking about the leftists. I'm not talking about the left-leaning or leftist, or socialist, 12-year-old socialist people from America. I'm talking about Americans that are supposedly conservative, patriotic, that want to approach everything as if it is a conspiracy theory. I don't know. I can think of some of those faces. Them arguing that Hamas just wants their freedom and their peace, but that the global elite and America and Israel, they cause all of this. But here are these guys saying we want to kill the Jews all over the world. May Allah destroy America and its helpers. Count them one by one and kill them all without leaving a single one. Look at this now. Look at this now. We have seen this guy saying that Palestinians around the world should attack random Jews and kill them. Here we have him give explicit descriptions, telling people how to do it. This is Hamas. This guy says, people of Jerusalem, we want you to cut off the heads of the Jews with knives. He shows it. With your hand, cut their artery here. Does this look like resistance? Does this look like I believe this is from wait, when was that? 2021. Yeah, this is from 2021. They made this only a week or so after the speech was given. 2021. This is not from 20 years ago. This is from 2 years ago. 2 years ago, Hamas representatives stand there and tell people of Jerusalem in this time here, we want you to cut off the heads of the Jews with knives. Do it like this. Cut it from here. Oh, here, it says right here, May 2021. Does this look like resistance? This is the senior Hamas leader. Wait, is that him? They will never get anything but death and killing. And so on. So these are the guys that some absolutely ignorant or insane people support and say, oh no, it's just about freedom. It's just about, just about peaceful existing. It's just because Israel doesn't treat them well. Never asking why Israel put measures into place which are described as not treating them well. This is not a resistance movement. This is an Islamic jihadist movement that is entirely... I like this guy. He's speaking truth. Yesterday I asked a question. I never got a proper answer to this. And I ask it again. I want to ask it again and again and again and again and again. People say, oh, here's another video in which they paralyze and destroy their entity. Enable us to get to the necks of the Jews. Enable us to get to the necks of the Jews. The day of your slaughter, extermination, and annihilation is near. Does this sound like resistance? Until not a single Jew or Zionist is left on the face of the earth, not Palestine, earth. We will exterminate you, says the Imam. We will not leave a single one of you alive, says the Hamas Imam. The Quran says, kill them wherever you find them. When critics of Islam take these Quran verses and use them to show that Islam is violent, people say, no, it's out of context, it's Islamophobia. Here you have Hamas doing it.
وين ما بنستطيع سنقاومهم التي يتبر فيها ملكهم ويباد فيها أبناؤهم.
Their sons will be annihilated.
اللهم عليك باليهود ومن والاهم. اللهم عليك بالأمريكاهم بددا ولا أحدا.
This is Hamas. It's a resistance movement, right? All they want is just have peace and coexist and all that, because they just want to have a wonderful life. If you left them alone, they would be just like any regular Western country, as you can clearly see. I asked one question. I want to just continue to reiterate this question. So many people complain about Israel's retaliation against Hamas, but nobody seems to offer a solution. What should Israel do in response to the worst mass murder committed by this genocidal organization, which aims to eradicate Israel, make peace, and wait for the next attack? Seriously, I'm really... I continue looking, and I just don't see anyone actually provide a proper solution on the Israel is going too far side. Really, I get it. People say, yeah, Israel shouldn't be doing this. Israel shouldn't be cut off, electricity and gas and all of that. Israel shouldn't, bomb, and Israel shouldn't retaliate. Israel shouldn't do this and that. Okay, I get it. People shouldn't die. But I'm just wondering, the complaints are not really a solution, are they? What should be done instead? I'm really wondering. I don't know. I don't think that there should be a war in the region. Do you think Israel wants that? Do you think the people of Israel want to die, want to send their entire population as reservists to Gaza among such a murderous population? I doubt it. I doubt it heavily. Right. Blinken meets with Netanyahu in Israel as death toll rises. One thing that people are worried about is that Hamas leader gave a speech recently in which he said, I hate these advertisements, in which he called Muslims around the world to declare a jihad this Friday, so morning, that Muslims should rise up tomorrow, go to all squares, and participate in the jihad. That's what the Hamas leader or former Hamas leader said. And lots of sources have reported on that. Lots of people independently reported on that initially, and then mainstream media picked it up and shared it too. But this guy actually called for a global jihad, called for Muslims around the world to participate in the struggle. And I don't know, people are a little bit worried as to what this incitement will cause. So we will see tomorrow. Why tomorrow? Why Friday? Because Friday is considered the holy day in Islam, when also the Friday prayer takes place. But yeah, hey, it's all just about peace and resistance and justice and all that. Joel ever said your hair is looking good. Oh, final prophets, mashallah. Thank you. I appreciate that. It does. Vidu, where is Vidu? Didn't I send you a link? It never came in. Huh. Okay. Neil7777 said, I know hadith about killing Jews, but that's not for Shias. What hadith do Shias have for hating Jews? Shias don't reject all of the hadith. Pretty sure they cling to that stuff as well. Plus, they have the Quran, which demonizes the Jews as well. And their hadiths may overlap or contain alternatives. I'm not entirely sure about what the Shia sources have on fighting and killing the Jews. To be honest, this is what we're talking about. What Islam has in its fundamental sources about fighting and killing the Jews. This is what we're talking about when we talk about Islam. This is Islam, and I wish people like Ben Shapiro is going, is on a roll these last days since the attack happened. He has gotten very harsh in his language, also very emotional, and very angry and relentless. I saw him drop the F word so many times on Twitter, which you can hardly see from Ben Shapiro. And then, of course, there are some people who say, oh, Ben Shapiro really lost it. He's emotional now, which is a very bad look. And I'm just thinking, really, man? This is how people think? Oh, yeah, a bunch of people were massacred. The population was brutally massacred. Hey, but, don't be emotional. It's not a good look. People are weird. And by weird, I'm just putting it very mildly. Okay, I have to look up one source here to see something that was posted on on Palestinian children, Arab children, talking about what they learn about Jews. Let's see. Let me have a look. I didn't see this video before. I'm not sure what's coming.
نعمل حرب انه نفرجي اليهود انه احنا مش انه احنا مش شاطرين، احنا قوايا كمان. في ناس بحبوا فلسطين بدهم يحاربوا وبضحوا بدمهم عشان فلسطين. انا بدي اهزمهم بالحرب، بدي اهزمهم.
Jerusalem. Imagine that this is how you are raised. And of course, this is all justified because there is apparently this oppression going on, and this is what that leads to. That's why these kids learn these things. But imagine this is how you grow up. This is what you learn in school. This is what your neighbors and your parents and elders tell you, that all you need to do is just to go out there and kill Jews, fight the Jews, wage war, and die. How do you think that will shape you as a human being? Isn't it unsurprising as a result of that people grow up becoming psychopathic about killing, burning, chopping up the other side?
بيعلمونا إنه الأقصى إلنا وإلنا يعني الحق، يعني إلنا فلسطين والأراضي كلها إلنا، لأنهم بسبب كذبهم وانتهاكاتهم إنهم يقولون إنه الهيكل تحت المسجد الأقصى، ولا مرة إنه يكون الهيكل تحت المسجد الأقصى. أنا أقرأ اليهود.
I don't even want to get into it now. I hate the Jews.
بيعلمونا إن
The Zionists are the enemy.
الصهيونية هم أعدائنا، وهم أهم إشي لازم يسوي فيهم عملية.
يعني إنهم بيعلمونا بالمدرسة إنهم إرهابيين
بيحكوا لنا عن اليهود إنهم هدول مش منيح، وهدول بقتلوا قاعدين بشبابنا. بيحكوا لنا هدول غدارين. وبيحكوا لنا إنه هدول.
Now, so much, such horrible indoctrination and people's brains filled with hate. People, of course, want to make arguments for why views like these are, justified. But do you think these kids have actual arguments for what they are propagating here and what they believe in? They don't. It doesn't matter. It's not about them being right or wrong. They are just taught and told something by their parents and by the former generations, by others, and they just grow up thinking that this is the norm. This is how it is. This is real. This is the good thing. It's the correct idea that the Jews are the terrorists and the enemies, and they are monsters, and we are supposed to grow up and fight and kill them. There are no arguments for this. This is just what they are brainwashed with and then live with. That's how it works. And this actually brings up one thing that is always very conflicting to me when I think about this, which is, a difficult discussion on judging these people for how they turn out. If I grew up in this environment, in this Palestinian Arab environment where my government, the leaders in charge, insist on making life a misery for all of us because they don't accept a two-state solution and the current borders, because they don't accept Israel, because they think we have to somehow prepare and get rid of all of Israel one day. If I grew up like that and I learned from a very early age that this is how I'm supposed to think, this is how I'm supposed to function, my entire purpose for existing is to grow up and become a fighter and die fighting the Jews. Maybe if I was at this age, I would end up being a terrorist too. Maybe I would probably not even reach this age. I would probably die fighting. It's easy for me to say that this is really crazy and really messed up because I wasn't raised with those standards. You weren't raised with those standards. But you would not be you and I would not be me if we were raised right there under those conditions. And that then brings up the question, how exactly do we judge these people for becoming the monsters that they become? Is it their fault? Is it the fault of the parents? If it's not their fault, then is it the fault of the parents? Okay, but weren't the parents at one point also kids and were brainwashed and indoctrinated and pumped with the very same thing? Who is it then? Is it the teachers? But weren't they also kids at some point and were indoctrinated with the very same thing, which messed them up? And that just keeps going and going and going, generation. Very difficult thing to think about. I don't know.
بغدرونا هدول مش منيح. إذا بطعن بدعس عليهم. عمل عمليات. كيف يعني؟ الدهس.
And this is why I'm specifically against Islam, against its fundamental sources, and why I think Islam is a huge problem. Because that's the problem, right? That's the thing. If I look at generations and I think, how can you hold them 100% responsible when they are indoctrinated with this, when they grow up with this, then what is left? What is left is I look at the religion that gives them these teachings, and I see that religion keeps that indoctrination alive. If you got rid of that religion, it would change things significantly, and these kids wouldn't be raised this way, and future generations wouldn't be as bloodthirsty and murderous and callous as they become here, which is why Islam is the problem. Islam is the problem. It's not humans, it's not people, it's not necessarily Muslims, it is Islam that turns people into this. It is Islam that gave me messed up ideas back in the day when I was a religious Muslim. It is Islam that gave my family horrible ideas that I grew up with as well. If Islam wasn't there, this wouldn't happen.
عمليات الدعس عمليات كيف يعني؟ عمل عمليات كيف يعني؟ الدعس
I will ram a car into them.
عمليات الدعس عمليات الطعن والاشتباك المسلح في
drive over them and shoot them.
المخيمات.
ايش اكيد هدول العمليات ترفع الراس ولفلسطين. العمليات هاي تاعت الدعس والسكاكين.
I'm going to run them over and stab them with knives. This is what you learn as a child. Is it any surprise that then you become insane?
هاي إشي بيرفع الراس لفلسطين.
إذا بدك بطلع بستشهد عادي.
This kid doesn't even know what life is. This kid doesn't even know what suicide really means. It doesn't even know what it implies to blow yourself up or why exactly you are doing that. This person hasn't even learned to think about the justifications, the reasons, the implications of anything, the consequences of this. This person hasn't even learned to make his own decisions. He hasn't even learned to be his own person, to form an identity. And he's already learns, before learning anything about life, that it's good to become a suicide bomber.
أنا إن شاء الله أساعد الشباب وإن شاء الله.
With Allah's help, I will fight for ISIS.
أصير مقاوم بالمستقبل مع الدولة الإسلامية.
This is depressing and dark, but it gives you an insight into what the real problem is. And yeah, this is in a UN-funded school. In a UN-funded school. This is this is messed up, man. But this is this is why I always say precisely, and why I do what I do, which is to tackle Islam so that it doesn't turn people into this. I mean, I wish I could convince as many Muslims as possible. How in the world do they think that this is about being genocidal, and this is a hate for Muslims that I have or that others have? I want Muslims who are regular humans to let go of these ideas, to let go of this, and to redirect their lives, become different people, have different ambitions, find a better meaning in life, find more love, a more sustainable, more peaceful, more great purpose in life. I want them to be happier. I want everyone else to be happier. I don't hate anybody. I don't want these people to grow up and be like this. Oh, God. Yeah. I retweeted the video on my, or I re-X'd it on my X account, so you can go and find it there. King of Corinth became a new member. Thank you so much. Welcome. Anthony Lafleur said, "What's up, AP? Was not expecting an early afternoon live stream from you. I know. I just decided that there is so much that I want to talk about. Things are not good right now in the world. But thanks for being here." Cat Canada said, "I can't stay for long. Got to work to do. Just wanted to say hello and to show support. See you on Twitter. Thank you. Thank you for being here. See you." Mark said, "First time catch you live, not following so much. One woman was saying about a video of nude woman that she always such photo on Instagram. That made me angry, not happy. Love from me." Yeah, there were some really sick people saying things like, "Oh, that woman wasn't stripped naked. She was already naked at the concert, at the festival, because she was wearing revealing clothes." What in the world is that even supposed to mean? What is that supposed to mean? What is that supposed to say? How is that supposed to make a difference here? Even if it was true, which it is not. There she is. You can see her naked breasts pressed against the back of the truck. This is how she was dressed. I find it so messed up to even get into the details of discussing whether she was naked or she wasn't naked, whether she, died in the end or didn't die in the end, whether she was dressed like this or like that. We have these fucking animals, these absolute inhuman savages, treat her like this. Treat her like this. We see her naked, laying on the back of a pickup truck with her legs bent in an unnatural way, which easily happens after death. With a big wound in her head, these guys grabbing her hair and sitting on her, and the population coming and spitting on her. And people really want to come and be like, "Oh yeah, well no, she already was naked. Oh, she didn't die. There was no confirmation that she died." Fuck you. Fuck you. How does any of that, even if it was true, how does any of that change anything about the barbarities, the savage behavior that we have seen here? These people are monsters. They are savages. We want to talk about atrocities. Here is an event from the year 2000. It's known as the Ramallah lynching. Don't look it up if you don't have the stomach for it. 2 Israelis accidentally take a wrong turn and accidentally get into the West Bank, Palestinian territory. They are pulled over, stopped by the police, taken into the police station. Rumor spreads that there are 2 Israelis among them. The crowd quickly gathers, goes to the police station, demands that the 2 Israelis are handed over to them. The police rejects. The Palestinians start climbing in and even beating the police officers, violently take these guys, burn them, kill them, then mutilate their bodies, take their organs and parade them around. This guy goes to the window with his bloody hands, which means, "Hey, we killed them," upon which the crowd cheers and celebrates. And, you could say, "Hey, horrible incident, should have never happened. But it's just an incident." But no, you had Palestinian authorities several years ago referencing this incident and celebrating it and calling these people heroes. That's what we were dealing with. Hazrat Muhammad said, "Allahu Fubar, plant a forest of garga trees. Do it. Do it." You know what's so insane? That lots of Muslims spread this idiotic idea that the Jews are aware that the gargot tree will protect them, which is why they're secretly planting gargot trees all over Israel. Their minds are so messed up with these conspiracy theories, with we will fight the Jews and they know it, that they start making up these these idiotic stories. Because this is what you learn. You learn to go and fight and kill them, and to hate them until eternity, because they are the enemy. Danish Orthodox said, do you think this terror might spread to the West? I hope not. I mean, as said, the guy called for a global jihad on Friday. And it's just incredible how quickly people forget about what Islamic terrorism is. Years ago, we had ISIS blow themselves up, shoot crowds, kill people left and right. It was sending shockwaves across the world. Then it didn't happen for a few years, and then people suddenly forgot it and started thinking, oh, maybe we are all just the same. Let's start building bridges and fighting these progressive ideas in our countries. And now the terror is back in a different form for everyone to see on screen. I wonder if these same people will now remember what Islamic terrorism looks like. Morten Bennigsen said, why did your previous stream disappear? It was removed by YouTube because of concerns of glorifying an outlawed violent terrorist organization, because it was about Hamas. I don't know how that worked. There are so many people who made videos about Hamas and Israel. So many people who showed all kinds of gore, all kinds of violence. Their videos didn't get taken down. Mine somehow was flagged and was then under review for 2 days and was just unlocked. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're smoking over at YouTube. Lucid said, we need to stop importing young Arab Muslim men. Trembleon said, oh wow, AP altes Haus so früh schon online. Yeah, that means online so early. Yeah, well, decided to do that today. Sam's Caller said, Hassan Pooper said 9/11 was justified. Did he say that really? Ergen Abgunay said, Mein Kampf, my fight. Yeah, which means my jihad. Jihad fight. Yeah. Beatrice N said, share the link to these speeches. Everything that I've shown on screen today, I have either published on, I've included in my video that I published earlier, which is a short video, or I have retweeted it on Twitter. So if you follow me there, maybe I should just link this. If you follow me there, you can find almost everything that I mentioned today on my Twitter feed. What? I just put myself in timeout on accident. How does that work? I don't even get it. Okay, I pinned it. All right. Count Buga said, thank you for all you do, brother. As an American Jew who grew up hearing the horror stories about World War II from my great grandpa, seeing this is sickening. I believe it. I believe it. All the best, man. Stay safe. Christ died on a tree so you might live, said, I wish someone would make a compilation of all the statements that show their true motives are to exterminate the Jewish people. Why doesn't somebody who's watching this make a compilation of the things that I've shown today and before, and also other things that are in existence? Send it to me. I will publish it happily. A compilation of all the horrible things that they have said about exterminating the Jews. I'll happily publish it right here so that everyone can have easy access to it and see it. Stefan said Amnesty International calls it apartheid. Disagree. They call it apartheid based on a certain issue. Amnesty International is not factually correct or objective in everything that they say. Needs to be pointed out. I think they call apartheid the treatment of Gaza by Israel because of the blockade, because Israel implements a blockade on Gaza and has strict limits on their exit and entry. the resources and all of that. But again, I think yes, the blockade and things like that are quite severe by Israel put on the Gaza Strip. But what's the alternative? What's the alternative? Should Israel just, pull out and be like, okay, guys, okay, Gaza, okay, Hamas, we'll just let you thrive. We won't get into your stuff. You can just continue. So that then, after a very short while, Hamas will declare war and invade Israel again. What's the solution? It's very nice to complain, right? It's very nice to say, this is horrible, this is bad, this is not good, this is not just. But what is the solution? I mean, if you look into the history of the conflict, it's not like Israel didn't try the solutions before. Vil N said, keep pointing the truth out there, AP. May God bless you and your family. Remember to also take care of yourself and your loved ones. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Where's David Wood? He's probably sleeping right now. He sleeps during the day because he takes care of things at night. Steph of Flanders said, what are your thoughts on Imam of Peace and his version of Islam? Is there something like a moderate Islam, or will it always turn into Islamism? I had a discussion with him on my channel quite a while ago, a few years ago, where I challenged his ideas. I don't think he has a very coherent Islamic alternative to whatever Islam we have in the world. And I don't think that it's possible for people to establish an Islam that does not contain these things. If it does not contain the things that the Quran says, the things that the Hadith say, then it is no longer Islam. It could be an offshoot of Islam. And such things are just not very popular. Islam has a very unique and distinct problem, which is that it is the only religion which believes that, or which preaches that the Quran, that its holy scripture, is the direct, unchanged word of Allah, word for word, and everything in there is valid for all times and a command to the believers. And that Muhammad is the perfect example for all mankind, that humans should imitate him and follow his example. And that just makes everything very, very bad. Erkan Abgunay said, since late 20th century, Sunni and Shia scholarly authorities actually recognize each other's interpretations as valid. Sunni al-Azhar accepts Jafari, Shiite al-Kauthar accepts Shafi as well. That's true. That's true. The Sunni al-Azhar institution in Egypt did actually recognize the Shia school of theology as a valid alternative school. That said, most Sunnis still don't really accept it, right? Especially the traditionalists, they definitely don't accept it. They still think that Shias are not real Muslims. Johnny Johnsonston said, Avodah Zarah 26b, even the best of the Gentiles should be killed. We talked about this quite a long time ago. It is a discussion in the Talmud, which our dear guest here is trying to quote here and act like the Talmud is even worse. It's just like that. It says kill all the non-Jews. The Talmud is not a book like this. I don't know what you think you're reading. The Talmud is not a book like the Quran. If you took everything that the Talmud says as a direct order to follow, you would contradict yourself 24/7. It doesn't make sense because the Talmud says conflicting things, contradicting things all the time. It will have 3 contradicting opinions on one page. You can't follow it word for word because you would be contradicting yourself 3 times. The Talmud is a book that is supposed to be studied according to Rabbinic Judaism in order to understand Jewish way of thinking and Jewish scholarship and all of that. It's not a book that is supposed to be taken as a word for word command for all mankind, like the Quran. Different issue. Not sure if this quotation is even right, but there is indeed a one part in the Talmud in which a rabbi says that even the best of them kill them, which happens during a persecution of the Jews. And then you have throughout the Talmud commands to not kill, not do injustice to non-Jews. So which one are you going to take now? Which one are you going to accept? Doesn't make sense, right? Johnny Johnson says, Shimon Hudderston, this is not even a real quote. Pretty sure. What is this? This is not even the real. This doesn't exist. This is made up. This is made up. See? Shimon Hudderston. What is that? Fall 50XD. How about 56D? How about guy who just posted this citation from the Talmud, supposedly? Johnny Johnson. How about you find a link to the Talmud directly to this reference here and post it in the chat. I will open it right here, right in front of everybody, okay? Do that right here. I'll tell you what this is. This is made up. And you know what this shows me? It shows me very clearly that you get your entire information from these online posts, online memes that were created 20 years ago and that are still circulating, of people just creating made-up quotes, propagating them despite them being refuted over and over again. We had a live stream about this. David, I, and Inspiring Philosophy, where we talked about the Talmud to respond to Nick Fuentes and others, in which our goal was very clearly not to defend the Talmud, but to fact-check their hate-mongering and to look through the Talmud. And just like this, there are so many other quotations which are completely made up. Completely made up. This does not exist. If you don't believe me, Google it. It doesn't exist. People. And then if something else is brought to you, you want to see proof. John Carter said Islam is a problem. It must be stopped. Maybe the Chinese are right. They just produce more brainwashed soldiers otherwise. I don't think the Chinese are right. The Chinese don't care about Islam. They don't care about Muslims. They don't care about religion. They don't care about Christianity. They don't discriminate in oppressing, brainwashing, and getting rid of different ideas. They don't care if you are a Muslim and I'm an atheist and that other guy is a Christian and this guy is that. What they care about is to get rid of people's identities and ideologies and turn them all into functioning, robotic supporters of the Chinese communist ideals. That's what they care about, which is why they don't just treat the Muslim Uyghurs this way. They also put other ethnic groups, including Christian ones, in concentration camps to re-educate them. Don't praise China. They are certainly not going the right way. Why not just praise the Soviet Union? I don't know. John Calder said Islam is a problem. It must be stopped. I already read this. Why did I? Okay. If David was here, he would be yelling at me now for reading the same thing twice. Lucius Big Bulbul said Serge Ahmed, TB, Khalid Kabub, Salim Gibran. Okay, search. My wife said, I'm so shocked at the difference in our own children versus these children. My child has told me he wants to help and save people when he grows up. It's very, yeah. Our oldest son, very heartwarming, very emotional, very sweet guy. And he often talks about how he finds it so sad that terrible things happen to people around the world and that he wishes he could help everybody. When he grows up, he wants to save people, wants to help people, wants to make them feel better. Of course, because of the new generation, he even uses some words that are kind of comedic when you hear them, but you don't want to laugh because he's being very emotional at the moment. A few weeks ago, I was putting him to bed, and he started talking to me, and he said, "Daddy, I don't like that that bad things happen to people, that earthquakes happen, and hurricanes happen, and people die. I don't like that people die. It's cringe, he said. Cringe. What? Where did that come from? Yeah. Anyway, but thank you for highlighting this. John Calder said, Mecca should be turned into a glowing crater with high radiation levels. We as a global community let this evil cult spread out of control like cancer. I don't really agree with that. I think by supporting the idea of violently turning places and populations and people into wastelands and oppressing people like that, you will not create good things. You will create a worse future for everybody. I mean, it's very cliche, but violence begets violence. Cringe. Yeah, I know he says cringe, and he thinks it just means bad or unbearable or whatever it is. Sweet guy. Press of Texas tab made a super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. I'm going to leave in a little bit. I just wanted to review things. I want to look at the news again quickly to see if there's anything going on. Hamas military unit attacks Israel city of Ashkelon as Israel mobilizes troops. These are old. What is happening? Live 24/7 updates 1 hour ago. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin will travel to Israel. I saw earlier the UK is deploying Britain Sunak orders deployment of military assets to the Eastern Mediterranean. God. Governments arrange for repatriation flights from Israel. There were clashes with Hezbollah and mutual threats with Iran. No direct evidence Iran participated in Hamas terrorist attacks, says the White House. Okay, I'm pretty sure we have footage of Hamas thanking Iran for supporting them and making these attacks possible. That's just a few days before they start crying and saying, Israel is bombing us. But yeah, of course, they need to establish a direct link here. I don't know. Things are really bad right now, and I hope this doesn't turn into a wider global conflict. This is how things start. This is how things start and go bad. King of Corinth said, I know what happened after the Battle of Khaybar Poison, but why did Momo hate the Jews so much? I think it's very petty. The reason is very petty for that. The reason for that is he started out hating his own religious group, his own polytheist, because he was a lonely guy who grew up without parents and didn't feel well received in his own society. He challenged the polytheistic ideas, was interested in monotheism in Christianity and Judaism. Started out as, hey, this is just like Christianity and Judaism. We have a lot of stuff in common with Jews and Christians and all of that. And then he went to the Jews and he was like, hey, Jews, your God sent me as a prophet. I am the new messenger. And the Jews said, no, you're not. We don't do that. You don't know what you're talking about. And they started laughing at him, and he got mad. That's how petty it is. But if you look at that's very, very, very briefly put. But if you look at the history, that's basically what happens. Muhammad didn't take criticism very well. The white trash panda said Islam dilenta eth. What does that mean? I don't speak Latin. What does that mean? Dialogue Progress said the problem with Islam is that their golden rule uses the word brother, which excludes all others who are not male Muslims. That's true. And I had a discussion about that a while ago with these Muslims who were saying the golden rule exists in Islam too. It doesn't. It says that that if you do that you are not faithful until you wish for your brother what you wish for yourself. but it says brother. It doesn't say neighbor or others or other humans. It explicitly says brother, and brother in Islam is fellow Muslims. The others are not brothers. The Quran is against being closely allied with non-believers, with non-Muslims. Mosh Cohen said, my unit has been called in, and I want to say to Lebanese who might be here, either you handle with Hezbollah or prepare to return to the Stone Age. Mosh, are you being are you being called in? So do you have to be deployed? I don't know. I heard what was it? There were like 300,000 reservists were called. 100,000 are supposed to be deployed or something. I don't know. Let me know. Mosh said, you will not rape our women, butcher our elderly, massacre families in their homes, and behead our babies without expecting us to retaliate. Eye for eye. I have no place to say anything about that. Bob Z said, happy to be poor, but in country with 0.1% Muslims. Lucid said, do you think that the Muslim world can one day be reformed like how Japan was after World War II? The Japanese did horrific things to the Chinese, but have now renounced war and are peaceful. No, because the difference is that the Japanese were not following a religion that makes it very strictly clear and explicit to them that this is their eternal goal forever. The Japanese did, at that time, learn, at least on the higher levels, that they are on a divine mission, that their emperor is, basically representing the divine, or is a representation of the divine, and they have as the glorious superhuman people the duty to conquer and to rule over all other human beings and all of that. So the Japanese, lots of people don't know this, but the Japanese had some really, really messed up ideas, which is why they followed the path of fascism and brutal racism with extremely severely inhuman treatments of the Chinese and others, for example. But that said, it wasn't like scripturally so deeply entrenched in their culture as it is with Islam. They didn't have an eternal text where their God tells them that this is what they must do for eternity, and the day will come that they will fight the Jews and kill them wherever they find them, and even rocks and trees will help. The Japanese didn't have such a thing. Once they were defeated, they accepted the idea that their divine representative can change the way things go and can agree to make peace with the world. And they let go of that belief that they are superhumans. Yeah. Human Kirk said, finally a stream when I can super chat. Cheers from Germany. Thank you so much. Vielen Dank fürs Hiersein. Drum Girl said, I have several Muslim friends in Turkey and elsewhere. Keep warning them. Continue warning them. Lots of people who don't even know much about Islam, who are not even hateful or violent or anything like that, who are just part of Muslim culture, are now taking sides with Hamas and these disgusting terrorists, because that's what they learn all their life. People need to wake up. That's why I want to spread information on some of the basics of what Hamas actually believes in and propagates. Anthony Lafleur said, all I can hope is for peace in the Middle East, but I realize that it might not happen due to this being a bloody conflict. Yeah. And I said it yesterday, I say it again. There simply is no peace possible with Hamas. Hamas is not interested in peace. Hamas does not want peace. And as long as Hamas is there, as long as Hamas is in charge, I don't think that peace is possible. All right, guys. I might just go live again tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow I have a live stream actually about Muslim metaphysician Jake, who is still invited to join me for a debate. which he chickened out of. One final thing. Baby Uno said Israel doesn't want peace. See, when I say Hamas doesn't want peace, I actually bring you documents and statements from themselves abundantly showing that they don't want peace. When you say Israel doesn't want peace, all you bring is claims that are contradictory to their actions over the last decades. It was Israel that offered the peace solutions. It wasn't the other side. Mosh Cohen said, yes, sir, Combat Engineers Battalion, North Sector. I won't be part of a ground invasion to Gaza, unfortunately, but if the North lets up. Hey, take care. All the best. I don't know. What do you say to somebody? What do I say to you? I can't express in words, but stay safe. Be well, Mosh. Hope to see you again. Same Miles said, just found this live stream. We'll watch later. Watchers, like, share, and subscribe to the Apostate Prophet. Thank you, Same Miles. Thank you for always supporting, always being here. I appreciate you very much. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope the peace comes. And I'll post if I haven't posted it. Okay. Okay. See you, everybody. Have a fantastic day. And as always, I don't really want to use sounds right now. Stay away from Islam. Take care.